So I'm in the second day of this retreat on working with fear and anxiety in an uncertain world, which is inspiring me to work with my own fear and anxiety in this way and go ahead and record some videos. And I find it very hard to push the button to begin recording. I have to be very grounded and give myself a lot of space to even just say, like, okay, let's go. Which is so interesting because I could choose not to even share this. I could choose to stop it and re-record it. Like, I have so many different options, and there's really no reason that this should be like this scary thing, and yet I feel a tremendous resistance to doing it. So I'm just naming that because, it's where I am, it's what's happening. But I did want to keep talking about the topic that I started talking about yesterday, watching the birds come and go, about embodiment, and also add in a little bit about emotions, which I think I alluded to yesterday. I don't really know what I said because I don't know what I said. It just came out. But I do want to more specifically talk about feelings, the role of feelings and what we're doing with embodiment, at least in my understanding, and, kind of what I've been working on in myself over the last few years that is just starting to all come together and make sense to me. And I guess by way of background and, kind of providing a little bit of history and understanding, I think we generally all come from a world that says, don't feel your emotions. Especially working in a male-dominated field like engineering, construction, there really isn't space for emotions. And that's okay for what those worlds are. Like, I don't begrudge those worlds anymore. I used to, quite a lot, but I don't begrudge those worlds their viewpoint on things. And I recognize, like, that doesn't necessarily work for all people. I think that's something that the industries are grappling with and have been for a long time as women have come into, being part of those spaces. Some are doing better at the grappling than others. Part of my journey has been letting go and saying, not for me, to places where I just didn't feel like I was quite able to be my whole self as much as I wanted to be. And I didn't even know that's what I was really doing at the time. I think it was just, at the time it felt like really painful letting go processes of moving on from something. But in reality, looking back, the sense that I can make of it is just continuing to open to something that feels more right to me, more in tune with who I am. And as I've done that and continued along that path, I've ended up in and out of different companies. And, I'm in a company now that I feel like is about as far along as any of them are in the journey. And I really appreciate that, and the people generally, the people that I work with. And there's also a long way to go in really opening to the fullness of humanity, I think. But again, I don't begrudge people their own personal journeys and what it takes for them to be able to open up or not to other people's ways of being. But that by way of just background, emotions, the message that emotions, that feelings are not okay to have, and that you've got to, keep them inside. You've got to keep them stuffed down, which I was very, very efficient and good at doing for a lot of years because I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know there was another option. I didn't know what else I could do with the feelings that I had. And I had heard sort of the, like, yeah, feel your feelings, right? That's what they're there for. Like, what they're there for is in the name, feelings. You're meant to feel them. And there's a lot of things that come up that keep you from actually being able to do that. There's a couple of hummingbirds having a little battle in the tree right now. It's really cute. Yeah, so one of the things I recognize is as I record videos, as I've gone about my business. Now they're fighting in this tree. Wow, I've never seen them do this before. It's really fun. I'm learning how to be embodied. I'm feeling into what's here for me in a way that I've not been able to do before, to be able to express and feel at the same time. Ooh. Yeah, it's big to be able to say that I recognize I'm doing that. That may sound very weird to people. I don't know. I'm not sure. But to recognize that, I am here in this body, feeling the feelings that I'm feeling, which might be anxiety or apprehension or a little bit of joy. There's so many pairs of birds right now just doing really interesting things. There's another pair of like sparrows over at a feeder that are talking to each other. You can probably hear them. I just feel like the world is full of gifts. So they're talking to each other. I'm talking to myself or you. It's very cool. Yeah, so to be able to actually feel your feelings, you have to be able to be in your body. And there's a lot of things I feel like that keep us from being able to do that. All those things are the stories that come up that distract us when there's strong emotion, and when something comes up that's really intense, we can get really attached to the storyline. We can get really attached to the figuring out, like, why, what is this, what's happening, what do I do? And I find myself doing that, absolutely. And I recognize also, one, that gets in the way of actually feeling what's happening in my body, and all of that is the work. So feeling what's happening in my body is the place that I want to go, and I don't think that the stories are the thing in the way. They're the path to getting to feeling the things in your body. And the feeling the things in your body is the path to opening up to more. Yeah, so the work is learning how to work with those stories that come up, how to work with the parts of self. If you're at all familiar with internal family systems or just parts work, that is the way that I've learned to work with the story portion of life, so that I can clear the way and open the path to being able to more fully embody, more fully feel in myself. Yeah, so I can definitely talk more about parts work as well. Oh, but the journey is really to work with what comes up, as they say. And often what comes up in trying to feel the feelings is lots of stories and lots of things that get in our way and keep us in our heads. And so I feel like I'm just now getting to the point in my journey where I'm like, okay, I can see that happening. I can usually catch myself in the act of acting out patterns. of playing out my like typical storyline, which is definitely tied to emotion, you know, and I believe that the emotion actually is what comes first, you know, that you feel a feeling and then you take an action from that feeling. And you feel a feeling because of your patterns and your history and what's happened to you in your life and what that kicks up in your body in response to this circumstance that feels like some other circumstance in the past. So that is the work, is to, yeah, to recognize, to see that happening, and to continue to say, okay, I see you. Thank you for being here. I love you. Part of me that is kicking into, you know, some kind of unconscious behavior. Thank you for trying to take care of me. And yeah, and then you can walk along the path with that part of you instead of letting that part of you lead. And that does give you the openness then to continue to feel, to continue to drop in, to continue to trust what your body has to say, to continue to let it be okay, whatever it is that's here right now, even when parts of us think it's really hard or unfair or awful. Just to continue to turn back into the self and say, all right, what's here now? What does this feel like? What is this like in my body? I don't know why, but that's where I'm at. That's what I've been led to. And it seems very important. So hopefully that's helpful. Love you all. Bye.